The 89 WS box office opens every Thursday, giving you a chance to win tickets for an upcoming show or event. This Thursday, it's your chance to win tickets to Sox Fest this Saturday at the Palmer House Hilton. For complete details, go to WLSAM.com. Go White Sox. So exciting. But we have some other news breaking that I hope President Obama and
a terrorist threat out of Pennsylvania from a 5-year-old.
That Rahm Emanuel and President Obama get on this right away. We've got a little girl. Tell us about it. She's a terrorist.
Yeah, she's from Mount Carmel Elementary School, and she said to her classmate, let's shoot bubbles at each other. She didn't even bring her favorite toy, the Hello Kitty automatic bubble blower, to school.
Is it pink and like little pastel colored?
Yeah, it's cute.
Shoots bubbles.
So they call her in, and they suspend her for 10 days, which they changed later to 2. But they also ordered a psychiatric evaluation and called this, quote, a terrorist threat. Can you imagine being her parents?
Now, this
getting
is
a call
what
at
town?
home?
We're in Pennsylvania?
Well, some town in Pennsylvania.
Some little town in Pennsylvania. I think that's why not put all the 5-year-olds in prison? Just put them in. It's like, I know that my kids like to hug kids and, maybe they want to kiss a kid. They should be sexual offenders. 5-year-olds, like they want to hug somebody.
I realize everybody's sensitive after Sandy Hook Elementary School, but I think this is going a little far.
I think you're completely wrong here, with all due respect, Lauren. We cannot, under what the president and Rahm Emanuel have established, we have zero tolerance for 5-year-old bubble terrorists.
Zero tolerance.
And they should, I think that this child...
How much damage can you do with a bubble?
How about putting an ankle bracelet on her, and every time she strays near a school, she gets an electric shock.
They're going to have to watch her now, put her in a mental health program for the rest of her life, watch her, evaluate her.
She's got an IR
What's
number
next?
now. She's got a case number now.
So what do you think the family's considering suing? Should they sue the school? Should they move? I think they're looking at other schools now, too.
I think that they should. I think we should sue the parents. How dare you have a child like this who talks about hugging and kissing people with bubbles? I mean, I cannot take this.
Yeah.
What is
She should take a sick day and stay home.
Pardon?
She should take a sick day and stay home.
No, okay, like all kidding aside here. Shouldn't we lock this family up? Just
Absolutely.
Put them, just lock them up, give them electric shock therapy, all 3 of them, mommy, daddy, and the child. Put them in prison forever. I just can't believe that you would defend a little 5-year-old terrorist who wants to hug people and shoot them with bubbles.
We have Joe from Elgin on the line.
We don't know yet because Joe's still not in the...
Oh, he's not in the system?
He is not in the system, but I have to say that... have you ever had a bubble gun?
I had the bubble blowers. We didn't have the guns when I was little. We just had the little bubble... I love those things.
And if you ever touched a child with bubbles that weren't there, listen, now we have Joe from Elgin. Joe.
Hey, I just think that this gun should be GPS also. There's a GPS chip in it. We need to know where this gun is at all times.
Joe, what do you think? Don't you agree with me that the child should probably be monitored for life, maybe a chip in her forehead?
Absolutely. She's dangerous. This is a dangerous child right here.
According to Robin Flicker of Bethesda, Maryland, the parent's lawyer, the kindergartner was playing with friends and spoke about her Hello Kitty bubble gun, which shoots bubbles. Flicker said the girl mentioned she was going to shoot one of her friends and then herself with the bubble gun so they could all be together. Then she said she was going to shoot herself again when she got home with bubbles. Quote,
so there's suicidal tendencies also. This is a bad case.
We can't, and of course, with all the lawyers, since now that President Obama is going on his second of, I'd say, 4 or 5 terms, the whole country will be run by lawyers, and we can't have these kinds of liabilities, right, Joe?
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
No shooting bubbles.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I think, what else does it say? That this child was questioned? What happened, Lauren? They took the child and...
Imagine being 5 years old and you're in a room surrounded by... What kind of questions do you think they ask her? Were you intending to shoot the bubbles?
Where were you? Where were you lucky? Where were you lucky on the night of... where were you? Hey, what, are you telling us a story?
Do you think they went and checked the 5-year-old's computer?
Do you think they even let her go to the bathroom where she wanted to go? And they're like, no, stay here. Use psychological torture on her? Steve, From Michigan, Steve, you're on 89 WLS. We're talking about that poor child.
Good morning. How are you?
What do you think? Electroshock therapy for the parents or just regular prison for mom and dad?
I think we ought to round up all these 5-year-old bubble blowers and put them in a detention camp until they get the mentally right. This is America.
Yeah, and we can't talk like that on the radio, Joe. So I have to, Steve. So I have to say bye.
Hey, we got a text from 847. Lock up the family for allowing the child to have anything that even looks like a gun, like a thumb and index finger. Lock up the child.
I think
no toy bubble guns for you.
Lock the child up and put them in an isolation ward. Okay?
So when they were questioning her, they said, "What were you thinking when you said use the term?" Let's shoot bubbles at each other. What did you mean by that?
I think you bring the mommy and daddy in and you set them down and you basically...
What are they teaching their kid at home?
Take the phone books to them right away. Mike in Schaumburg. Mike, what are we going to do about this 5-year-old criminal little girl who wants to hug people with bubbles?
It sure seems like they've found their profile, the 5-year-old girl who... It makes an inadvertent remark, and now they're going to crucify this person to make sure that they're on the job taking care of it. Once again, it's an example of, the president seems intent on micromanaging every little crisis that comes along.
Oh, come on,
and getting involved in everything.
You can't blame this on the president. He wants to protect us from 5-year-olds.
Hysteria over it, and don't you see the pattern here? It seems to me that lawyers in general tend to be, micromanagers. They can't seem to delegate anything. They got to get their hands on it, and nothing gets across their desk unless they see it. In this case, you have everybody in hysteria. My God, zero tolerance if a child says the word gun.
Listen, Mike, you're completely wrong, you and Lauren both. Put the kid in prison with the parents. Lock them up. I'm John Cass with Lauren Cohn. We'll get back to more of your calls.
I'm going to bubble you in a minute.
On our cute 5-year-old terrorist after this.
We're Chicago's talk leader because of you. So help us make the WLS News Department the best in Chicago. If you witness news, call the 89 WLS News Tip Hotline at 312-236-0507.
John Cass here, 89 WLS, sitting with Lauren Cohn. We're talking about that 5-year-old terrorist who was basically... She had a little pink bubble gun. She wanted to shoot bubbles at her friends and hug them and give them kisses. And therefore she was...
They called her a terrorist.
They called her a terrorist. They kicked her out of school for 10 days in what the school characterized as a terrorist threat.
They made her undergo a psychiatric evaluation.
Nice. Rick in Des Plaines, you're here with John Cass and Lauren Cohn. What do you say?
Well, there's a couple of things that have to happen here. One, they have to revoke her NRA membership. 2, we have to see a ban on assault-style bubble guns and a ban on large-capacity bubble solution magazines.
So she's going to have to go on the registry is what you're saying. She's going to have to be her name at 5 years old.
Put her in the registry.
She was on the terrorist watch list, definitely.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Listen, we've got a text from 773, and you can text us at WLS-AM to 68683JJ. Let's see. With the new executive orders, after getting her psych evaluation, the 5-year-old terrorist will be banned from getting a gun for life. I think that's only fair.
Absolutely.
And her parents should be undergoing drug therapy and electroshock therapy.
815 says, I used to play war at recess. Imagine the emotional scars I'd have today if I was suspended, forced to see a shrink to cure me of it.
Jim in Indiana, line 2. Jim, let me ask you the question. Do you agree with me that we should lock this child up forever and basically put her in an isolation ward for daring to want to hug people with bubbles and a gun?
100% I agree with you, John. Ha, ha, ha. But listen, all seriousness aside here, all joking aside,
there you go. That's
I
better.
believe that this principal, this teacher, whoever went after that girl should be psychologically evaluated. Is this the kind of teachers and this the kind of principals that we want teaching our children? Come on, guys. This is enough. I think that their teaching and their principal jobs should be on the line here. This is just, it's ludicrous, guys. It's ludicrous. Why in the world would somebody even be allowed to do that? And if I were those parents, I would bring those people up on charges. I would sue them. I would sue them for having my daughter.
Yeah, well, I would basically think that maybe Obama will put him in the cabinet as a wonderful example for all. This is John Cass with Lauren Cohen. We'll get more of your calls on the little child later in this broadcast after the break.
When you want Chicago's classic hits, turn to 94.7 WLS. For traffic and weather info, tune in to 890 AM WLS. For traffic and weather first on the 5s when you need it most.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Lauren Cohen, John Cass, 89 WLS. We're watching what the president's inauguration. We'll be talking about in the next hour.
Michelle Obama looking spiffy there.
A little spiffy, like in the Darth Vader outfit. What's going on with that?
The whole new hairdo and everything.
And the Jedi robes. I mean, I feel like, where's the lightsaber, you know? Does she have long boots on with that, or
well,
what?
You know, it is a new day.
Well, I was hoping to see her arms, you know, her buff arms.
That's tonight, John.
You can't see it during the day?
That's for the ball hour.
That's for the
6
ball
p.m.
hour, huh?
When the big balls start.
You know, so many reporters are there, and based on my experience as a reporter, I can tell you 99.99% of them are basically twitchy with excitement.
Well, that's the way they have to be.
I wouldn't even have them drink any fluids because they're just so excited. If Barack looks at them, they will pass out.
They're trying to be respectful. They want to honor this day.
It's not respectful. It's like
they're afraid.
They're so in love. Their legs are tingling. I'm John Cass with Lauren Cohen. We'll be back after this on 89 WLS.
One station making history every day.
It burst into flames, and it's falling on the morning fast, and all the folks between that this is terrible. This is the worst of the worst.